Scruffy Politics here. Please subscribe. We need the subscribers. We need the likes. And tell anyone you know about our podcast here. So, Trump and the media. It's interesting to see how the media has become, and there's do I take face, or do any of us, should any of us take face value at anything that CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, Entertainment says? No, because they're all slanted in ways. However, same thing with ABC, CBS, NBC. However, they mostly report news and they mostly report facts. And yes, you have slants on each one. And what is becoming a problem is media, and how Trump hates when the media has a story out about him that has him in a negative light. And it's something we've never seen with any other president. Something we never saw with Bill Clinton or George W. Bush when they got slammed by the media and late night talk show hosts would make fun of them because Clinton and Bush had thick skin, just like Joe Biden, when he always got made fun of because, old man Biden, skin senile. So it's called having thick skin. And now we're seeing what's happening with Trump and the media, and how you basically have to be careful now if you're reporting on Trump, because it's sad, it's scary. There should be a free press, and there should be journalism out there, and that's eroding away. Yeah.
I think so much of what people think of as journalism is dead, because I think so much of what we see today is people with a political agenda, and they work for CBS, MSNBC, CNN. I mean, guys like Major Garrett on CBS, I feel like he's always got a political axe to grind against Republicans, and specifically anybody that supports Trump. Same with George Stephanopoulos. Same with Chuck Todd when he was on Meet the Press. Same with Margaret Brennan on Face the Nation. These people they're all from Washington. They all live in the Democrat bubble, and they all have an axe to grind against. Half the time when they say, oh, now we're going to go for opinion to our panel, right? Our panel of experts. Their panel of experts are always people that aren't even like real Republicans. They'll say like, oh, perfect example, PBS NewsHour has Jonathan Capehart and David Brooks. All David Brooks does is sit there and agree with Jonathan Capehart. He never portrays a Republican opinion. But they put him on like, oh, well, see, we have the right side and the left side. No, you don't. Yeah. You have two left sides.
And those are like opinion panels, too. And those are annoying.
Yes.
And I think we all find that annoying. However, and I know the popular thing to say is, oh, never trust the news media now. They're all... And Trump also put that in our minds a lot, too. He put that in a lot of people's minds. The fake news.
He did,
lying. They're if I lose, it's rigged. He did such a good job of making people think that the news media is your enemy. Yeah, are there assholes in the news media that lie and try to slant? Yes, on every network. However, when you're a politician and you're held up to the highest standard, you're going to get criticized. You're going to get made fun of. There might be some lies about you. George W. Bush dealt with it. Clinton dealt with it. Joe Biden dealt with it. They had a thick skin.
Well, I would agree with you that Trump is thin-skinned, and he doesn't like stuff being said about him. He doesn't like people coming after him. He doesn't like people attacking him. But at the same time, if we're talking about journalism, Trump did something actually the first time ever in American history. The Washington press pool was usually limited to a very small amount of insider Washington media companies. He expanded that, so I don't know if you know that, but like he's got people that are from YouTube and foreign countries,
Yes, which
and
that
print
is a
media
little-
and Substack, and he's
Okay.
allowed a whole bunch of different people to come in and ask questions.
But that's also kind of scary when you have people just let's say if you and I just became really popular right now on YouTube and became big names. I don't have a journalism degree or a media degree. That would be kind of scary to have me go in there and I would need a lot of help before I went in there. And what he's having people like Alex Jones. Well, I don't know if Alex Jones can still go in there, but there's people like an Alex
not in
Jones.
there.
Remember Alex Jones who claimed
Yeah, he's
that
not
the
part of
school
the
shootings are all
White House
hoax?
press pool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's so there's a lot of characters in there too,
But-
and not a lot
but-
of people with credentials.
So you're saying the only people that can be in there are the dyed-in-the-wool CBS reporters who also
You need
reported
people
for
with
2 years on a
credentials.
fake Russia story.
You need people with credentials.
I mean-
when you go to the hospital, you don't just want anyone operating on you. You want a nurse and doctor with credentials and schooling. When you have when like you just can't.
So what happens when
You need credentials.
the credentialed surgeon screws up your surgery?
Well, and that's happened, and there could be a lawsuit there, but that's way.
But
different.
we can't do
That's
that.
way different. That's
How's
way
that different? I mean, George Stephanopoulos said that Trump was a rapist, and he wasn't.
Well-
That's why they had to pay.
Well-
So he was like the surgeon who made the mistake, and he got sued, and he had to pay.
Yeah, well,
It was the same thing.
Trump gets his feelings hurt, and it's all. And I know journalism isn't what it used to be, and a lot of journalists out there, and there's some really brave ones who actually do a really good job and report accurately on Donald Trump and the gross things that he's doing, but. How can America believe that journalists? Because it's down their throat every day that the media is the enemy, that the media is lying, when not everyone in the media is lying. And the one thing you said about Chuck Todd, he has a new podcast. I only listened to it once, and it's pretty good. But what I did not like about him was he was not tough on questioning when he had guests on Meet the Press. But I haven't watched Meet the Press in such a long time. But
So here's the thing. I watch Meet the Press pretty regularly, and here's something that just happened on a recent episode, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. Kristen Welker on there is a cheerleader for the Democrat Party. She is not a journalist. So she asks a question of John Barrasso about illegal immigration, right? And he says, well, we have currently, I think he said like 1.5 million illegal people on Medicaid. And she ends by saying, but of course, illegals are not allowed to be on Medicaid. So she comes back and she has to get that point out of everybody's mind. And then John Barrasso didn't let it go. He came back and he said, no, Kristen, I'm telling you, it's a real fact now, today. We have records. 1.5 million. So I know you can say that, oh, it's not true. It can't happen, right? Because the government says we don't let illegals get on Medicaid. I'm telling you right now, today, we have documentation. 1.5 million are on Medicaid. So she's lying. She's lying, and she's pushing the Democrat talking point. She's not a journalist.
yeah, but,
I mean, just tell us
but
you're a
it's also
Democrat
kind
and
of
you're
like-
on there speaking for the Democrat administration.
But it's kind of like when the MAGA reporters out there also say everyone on Medicaid is lazy and they don't have a job and they just need to work, when many of them actually are disabled or do have a job. They just don't, have, you need, some people need that help because of their circumstances with their disability or where they are in life. So, yeah, it's not everyone on
The thing is, to me, they're not journalists because they lie all
Well,
the time,
then
and we
Fox
can't hold them
News.
accountable.
Yeah, I mean,
We can't hold them accountable.
yeah.
I mean, you can in a situation like with Stephanopoulos where he defames somebody publicly to millions of people, but most of the time the little lies that they say, there's nothing you can do about
Right.
it. And what's really sad is people hear that and they take it as fact. Now, they won't research it. They won't investigate it. Like you sent me that thing earlier about that guy, right? So I researched it. I don't know if you saw the thing I sent back, but you know, all those claims made in that little clip that you sent me or whatever, they're all unsubstantiated. And the reporters that have tried to investigate it have said none of this is right. So I don't. But the media is probably out there pushing that story because, again, it meets their Democrat agenda. We want people to be sympathetic. We want them to believe that citizens are being rounded up and kicked out of the country.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the media is not always correct, but is the media the enemy of the people? I think right now the media is seeing that they're being attacked right now, and they what's happening they've never seen before Donald Trump. Yeah, it was bad during his first term, but now Trump, he's it's I'm glad I'm not a journalist who is is against Trump, because if I was, man, I'd be afraid if I got sued for reporting something accurate, and so it's just unfortunate. We've never had a president like this before, and when you get your feelings hurt, you just need to keep going on if you have thick skin.
Well, here's a perfect example that Democrats do not believe in journalism when it goes against Democrat Party principles. Catherine Herridge of CBS, the government went after her because she reported against the Democrat talking points. And Matt Taibbi is another one. He was run out on a rail from professional media because he went against Democrat talking points. So those are two very accurate, long-term, news, trustworthy, true journalists, but they chose to go, they went with the truth and they went with the story, which went against the Democrats' talking points, and they did everything they could to destroy those people.
Wow.
So Major Garrett, he's on CBS. What did he do to defend his journalist colleague, Catherine Herridge? Nothing. Because she went against him on the Democrat talking points. He was like, he was probably telling her, if you would have just lied about the story and stuck with the Democrats, you wouldn't have all this trouble with the law now.
Yeah. Well, Yeah.
But yeah, they went after her with the legal system.
Yeah.
Because they didn't like her reporting on, I can't remember, I think it was on Biden. She did some reporting on Biden and they went after her big time. Ruined her career.
Well,
CBS fired her over it.
I mean, unfortunately, yeah. I mean, that does happen. But as we see, it's not fair when they go after you for any reason, whether if it's right wing or left wing, who's going after you. They're both bad. Yeah. So
the other one, I don't remember actually what it was, but I just had to bring this up. But remember the interview Donald Trump did with Leslie Stahl? And she said, "Oh, we can't say that, Donald. We're a professional news organization. We have to check our."
Was that the one where he was throwing a hissy fit about all his demands that had to be met? Yeah.
I can't remember
Leslie Stahl, she's kind of tall, slim, blonde hair, older lady.
Yeah.
Maybe I remember that from like a few during his first term, I think.
I mean,
he threw a hissy fit. Yeah.
Well, no, it was she. I can't remember what the actual thing was about
she
now,
wanted
but
to ask him questions and
she.
And he didn't want to. No, he.
There was something that was kind of already.
Me. You're, his.
Yeah, she's another one. She's not a journalist. Yeah. She's a Democrat.
Well, this episode is almost is about to wrap up here. So,
yep.
Yeah. So that's that, and so it's a good talk.
All right.
Yeah.
Like, subscribe, tell your friends if you want to get the real truth. We're just two average, middle class guys out here having the same conversations that a lot of people either have or don't have because they're too afraid to have this conversation with people.
Yes.
But Steve and I are not afraid.
Yeah.
We will talk about these things.
Not afraid. Not afraid. Not until YouTube shuts us down. Okay.
That's right. Until the deep state comes for us.
Yeah. Okay. Peace out.
All right. See you later. Bye.